to science that I wanted to, one of the reasons I brought up as a question is this sense that we have, and I think it's responsible for a lot of religious belief probably too, that when something happens to us, it's significant.
Yes.
The physicist Richard Feynman used to say that we're the easiest person to fool is yourself. So he used to go around to people and say, "You won't believe what happened to me today. You won't believe what happened." And people would say, "What?" And he'd say, "Absolutely nothing." and you know, you have nonsensical dreams for thousands of nights, but one night you dream that a friend is going to break their leg and then they break their arm, and somehow it has significance. And Carl Sagan used an example in his wonderful book with I forget the title of it now, Demon Haunted World, about the miracle of Lourdes. I don't know if where he got it from, but you know, there's something like 120 million people who've gone to Lourdes, France, to be cured, and the Catholic Church very carefully monitors these things and has found out with 20 cases of people who've been cured of disease that can't be explained elsewise. And as he points out, there's never any arms regenerated or anything. It's cancer or something like that. But the interesting thing is, if you look at the general population, the spontaneous remission rate from cancer is much greater. So if you go to Lourdes, you have much worse of a chance. But the interesting thing is, if you go to Lourdes and your cancer goes into remission, there's no way that you or I are ever going to convince you that it wasn't a miracle.
Yeah.
And I think, in fact, that's a perfect, perhaps, segue to one of the last chapters
yes.
in the book, which is miracles. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
Yes, well, you mentioned these sort of uncanny things where you dream about somebody you haven't thought about for 35 years, and then you wake up and find that he died in the night or something of that sort. And various people have done calculations working out the number of people that there are dreaming all around the world, and the number of people that there are dying. And of course, you don't report the times that you dream about somebody and you say, well, I dreamed about him and I woke up in the morning and do you know he didn't die, he hadn't died. So it's really the same point again. You've just been quoting Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman had a story about when his wife tragically died of cancer, and really spookily, the clock in the room stopped at the very instant when she died. But Feynman was no fool, as you know, and he worked out the true reason, which was that the clock had a faulty mechanism, and if you picked it up and tilted it, it stopped. When Mrs. Feynman died, the nurse needed to record the time of death, and so she picked up the clock, and the sick room was rather dark, so she took it over to the window and tilted it to see the face, and of course the clock stopped. But even if that hadn't happened, even if there was not an explanation that it was a faulty clock, if it really had been a coincidental winding down of the spring of the clock at the moment when she died, that still would be not at all remarkable given the number of clocks that stop every day. And this is exploited by a well-known conjurer stroke charlatan, whom I will not name because he's so litigious, who used to go on television and challenge people to go and find a watch in the house, which had stopped, I think it was, and then he would say, I will hypnotize your whatever it is, I will cast a spell and use the power of thought to make your watch start.